We're in the brand new 2025 Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, courtesy of Younger Toyota in Hagerstown, Maryland. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So today we're in the RAV4 Hybrid because all-wheel drive comes standard. You get excellent fuel economy, amazing reliability. That, of course, is what Toyota is known for after all. And there's actually one interesting change for the 2025 model year as well. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so as you can imagine, there are several different trim levels for the 2025 RAV4 Hybrid. You got the LE starting at $31,900, which is a $425 bump from the 2024 model year. XLE for $33,410, XLE Premium for $36,300, Woodland Edition for $35,120. You got the SE for $34,595, XSE for $37,560, and lastly the Limited going for $40,205. But to make things a bit simpler, regardless of the trim level that you get with, the power plant is going to be the same, which is nice. 2.5 liter naturally aspirated inline 4-cylinder. You get two electric motors with that, putting out a combined 219 horsepower, 163 pound-feet of torque. That power is going to be sent to all four wheels through a continuously variable transmission. When it comes to the 0 to 60 time, it's going to come in at approximately 7.3 seconds. It's plenty respectable on paper there. Top speed, 115 miles per hour, in case you were interested in that, with MPG numbers coming in at 41 in the city, 38 on the highway. That's ridiculous for an all-wheel drive SUV taking regular unleaded fuel. So then before we do any kind of fun acceleration test here in the RAV4, I did want to mention to you guys the drive modes. So there's a circular dial located just to the left of the shifter. Drive modes will include Eco, Normal, Sport, EV, and Trail, adjusting things like the shift points, the throttle response, the steering sensitivity, and the all-wheel drive system engagement then as well. So now that I've got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put this acceleration here to the test, and let's see how quickly we can get our new 2025 RAV4 Hybrid here up to speed. All right, got our straightaway, waiting for the green light, go. Instant. There's nothing wrong with that. That's quite a nice acceleration. The cool thing about having electric motors is it is an instant acceleration. So naturally aspirated engines typically give you a pretty instant acceleration to start with, but you throw some electric motors paired up with that, and it's brilliant. It's like an electric vehicle basically when it comes to the acceleration. It's definitely no kind of lag, like turbo lag or anything like that, because it's not turbocharged. So that's a wonderful acceleration. I love that. But to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So up front, you will find 12-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 11.1-inch solid rear discs. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, it comes in at 133 feet, which is kind of average or below average, I guess you could say, as far as paper goes. So as far as the braking feel goes, it's actually nice. Forget the number. I don't care about the number. That's a pretty firm braking feel. Definitely a braking feel that I would personally have absolutely no issues with. I like it. It's kind of on the sportier side of things when it comes to the braking feel. So usually in SUVs, it's kind of a soft braking feel and there's no emotion to it, but this thing immediately brings you to a stop. I really like that. But anywho, then touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get a McPherson strut front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension, front and rear stabilizer bars. And if you go with one of the SE trim levels, it's also going to give you a Sport Tune suspension as well. So anyways, we got the XLE, by the way, in case I didn't say that already. So as far as ride quality goes, it's been 100% perfectly fine on my short little test drive here today. Absolutely no issues with that. As far as steering feel goes, it's on the looser side of things. So wouldn't have minded if they firmed that up, give it a little more heavier of a weight to it, just to kind of balance out with the firmness of the braking I got there. But it's to be expected in a lot of Toyotas, quite honestly. It's definitely on the looser side of things, kind of like the Corolla. So it is what it is. But anyways, touching on cabin noise, we're going 55 miles per hour right now, so it's probably the perfect test. I'll let you guys be the judge to my road mic. I personally don't have any issues with it. It's not the quietest cabin in the world, but it's something that would definitely not bother me. I'll just put it that way. Then touching on rear visibility, I can see 100% perfectly fine out the back. And of course, with an SUV with the shape of the RAV4, definitely not going to have any issues with that. And then touching on forward visibility a little bit, rain sensing windshield wipers are optional on every single trim level across the board. So basically what that is whenever this thing detects any kind of mist or rainfall, it's going to automatically turn on the windshield wipers for you. So kind of like automatic headlights, just one less thing you got to worry about there as well. But That pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2025 Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2025 Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, finished in magnetic gray metallic. In case you were curious of our exact exterior color name that we had with us here on this one. But as always, let's go ahead and start with where the RAV4 Hybrid is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the number 2, indicating that the RAV4 Hybrid is actually built and assembled in Canada, eh? But let's go ahead and start up front on this one. Matte black front grille with active grille shutters coming standard. So grille shutters are going to open and close dependent upon the engine cooling that is needed at any given time. But the blue Toyota badge up front that typically Toyota always put on their hybrids previously is now gone for 2025. That is the interesting change for 2025. So no longer will you have the blue kind of surrounds on the Toyota logo. It's all going to be finished in black now, even for the hybrid here. So interesting. But to the sides, full LED headlights will come standard. You get LED daytime running lights with that. You also get the automatic feature. You also get automatic high beams as well. So if you have your high beams on at night and it senses the vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. And when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up the high beams for you there. And then if you were to go with the XLE Premium, Woodland, or Limited, you're going to get LED fog lights then as well. But anyways, that pretty much rounds out the front end. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of this one, roof rails will come standard for all trim levels across the board. You gotta love that. You're gonna get some crossbars for the Woodland trim level specifically. Rear privacy glass coming standard for all trim levels yet again. There's some chrome upper window trim again for all trim levels. Taking a look at the side mirrors, they are power adjustable side mirrors. They will be body colored for the XLE trim level and up. You're gonna get integrated turn signals again for the XLE trim level and up as well. Then taking a look down at the wheel setup, of course, they're going to differ dependent upon the trim level yet again. 17-inch alloys for the LE and XLE trim levels. 18-inch alloys for the XLE Premium, SE, XSE, and Limited. And then 18-inch bronze alloys. That looks stinking cool if you guys have ever seen that one for the Woodland trim level. But anyways, that pretty much rounds out the side. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back of this one, all the way to the top, body colored shark fin antenna. Just below that, rear spoiler with an integrated brake light. Just below that, you got the rear window wiper. LED taillights actually do come standard for all trim levels across the board. You gotta love that. In case you wander onto a lot on a Sunday, there is trim level badging found on the rear lift gate. So that is how you're gonna go ahead and know what trim level you were specifically looking at, I suppose. And then just below it all, there are dual exhaust outlets with chrome tips. They actually look pretty darn good. I'm glad Toyota didn't tuck those away because I like the look. But anyways, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. All right, so now since we are around to the back of the RAV4 here, when it comes to opening that rear tailgate, it is going to be a power tailgate for the XLE Premium, XSE, and Limited trim levels. Otherwise, it's a manual tailgate like we have with us here today, which is perfectly fine, quite honestly. But once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 37.5 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, there is a 60-40 split, meaning the rear seats do fold down, bumping that up to 69.8 cubic feet. You got a cargo cover coming standard back there. There's a cargo net, a little bit of storage in the back corner there as well, so I liked that. LED cargo lighting. You very rarely find LEDs in the cargo area, so I was a big fan of that. Got some chrome plated tie down anchors. There's actually a 12-volt power outlet back there as well. Then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you will find a spare tire, which you guys know I always love to see personally. But then making our way up to the rear legroom, that comes in at 37.8 inches. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the back seats there. There is a rear center armrest with cup holders coming standard for all trim levels across the board. Rear ventilation, also all trim levels across the board will get that. Dual rear USB charging ports for the XLE trim level and up. That's the sweet spot. That's why we got it with us here today. You gotta love that. And then heated rear seats are gonna be optional on the Limited trim level in case you wanted those. But then make your way up to the front seats, manually adjustable cloth seating for that LE trim level. Power driver seat for the XLE trim level and up. That worked plenty fine. You get power lumbar with that, by the way, as well. Softex upholstery for the XLE Premium trim level and up. Heated front seats for the XSE trim level and up, and then ventilated front seats for the Limited. Overall, as far as seat comfort goes, it's basically the same seats as the Corolla, so it's perfectly fine for me. Toyota and Lexus always have done a wonderful job with their seat comfort, so absolutely no issues there. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping. It is manually adjustable. It is going to be leather wrapped though for the SE trim level and up. And then a heated steering wheel is going to be optional. The 10-2 grips are kind of on the small side of things, but again, identical to the Corolla, so I don't have any issues there either. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the startup. So this is kind of interesting. You got your Toyota RAV4 specific badging on the one side. When you flip it over, probably the most basic key in existence right now, which means if you lose it in like Ocean City, Maryland or something, it's not going to cost much to replace. But very basic key. But it is all keyless entry though, with a push button start for the XLE premium trim level and up. It's going to be optional on some of the other trims like we have today. But anyways, I'm just going to put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just by the driver's right knee. And so once started up, as far as the gauge cluster goes, you're going to get a 7-inch digital gauge cluster for all trim levels, but the limited is going to give you a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. So that is not the one that we have today, but I don't mind these gauges quite honestly. You got your fuel information to your right, got some battery information to your left. There is the digital screen front and center to control what is on that screen. There are some steering wheel mounted controls found on the left side of the steering wheel there. Tells you your average miles per gallon, how many miles you have left until you hit empty. Outside temperature, trip A, trip B. Of course, when you change the drive modes, it's going to kind of adjust the colors of the gauges in the center there as well, which is always nice. So I don't have any issues whatsoever when it comes to the gauge cluster. But now let's go ahead and take a look at overall interior quality. If you wanted a power moonroof that we don't have with us here today, you're going to have to go with the XLE Premium, Limited, or one of the XSE trim levels. So that's how you're going to go ahead and get that. LED interior lighting does come standard for all trim levels across the board. I like that. You also have an overhead sunglass holder coming standard up top there as well. Wireless phone charger is going to be optional. Blue ambient lighting for the limited trim level then. But overall, I think the interior quality, it was okay. It was enough to satisfy me. I'll just put it that way. Just above the passenger side glove box, I like this little shelf system where the passenger could store some stuff there if they wanted to. Just in front of the shifter, you got a little bit more storage, a 12-volt power outlet, USB charging port. Behind the shifter, you have your dual cup holders, and then within the center armrest, there's a decent amount of storage in there. You got a couple USB charging ports in there as well. I like the brown contrast stitching going through the light leather here on the dash. I think that looks pretty darn good. Overall, like I said, perfectly fine for me. I didn't have any issues. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the infotainment screen here. Let me turn this on real quick. It is an 8-inch color touchscreen display for all trim levels, but the XSE and limited trim levels, because if you were to go with one of those two, you're going to get a 10.5-inch color touchscreen display. But either way, you get Bluetooth and audio streaming. Either way, you get wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. You gotta love that. You can check out your driving statistics up there if you wanted to, along with your radio information. So when it comes to the sound systems, you're going to get 6 speakers for all trim levels, but the limited trim is going to give you an 11-speaker JBL sound system. So we do have the 6-speaker sound system with us here today. So let's go ahead and turn on the radio. Let's see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. Although there was FM radio, that actually wasn't that bad. So I've always said this with Toyota sound systems, even if you get the 6-speaker sound system, it's still pretty darn good. Like one of the best for a 6-speaker sound system, if not the best 6-speaker sound system that you can get out there. But the JBL sound system, that's going to be incredible. I had a JBL subwoofer in my first car way back in the day, and that was amazing as well. So definitely no issues with that one either. But last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put the RAV4 Hybrid in reverse, you will find a very high definition rear view camera that comes standard. It's also going to make that noise when you put it in reverse because it's a hybrid after all. The engine's not actually on when you're going at slow speed. So anyways, that is always going to lead us into safety. And so to start, the RAV4 Hybrid is an IIHS top safety pick, so that's a heck of a start right there. Got front side curtain airbags, driver's knee airbag up front as well. Front passenger seat cushion airbag. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats. Rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard, Toyota Safety Sense 2.5. That gives you a pre-collision system with pedestrian detection, dynamic radar cruise control, lane departure alert with steering assist, lane trace assist, and then road sign assist as well. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the RAV4 Hybrid, this is actually quicker than the non-hybrid, believe it or not. So not only are you getting a faster 0 to 60, but you're getting better MPGs than your standard RAV4 as well, which is pretty darn cool. So it makes you think, why would you want to get the regular RAV4 if you can get the RAV4 Hybrid, have it be quicker and better MPGs. I don't know. That's just me. Speaking of the MPGs, over 40 miles per gallon in an all-wheel drive SUV, that's absolutely incredible. Excellent reliability as well. That is what Toyota is known for. I remember reading about a Highlander hybrid not too long ago in Florida going over 1 million miles. So that's absolutely incredible. That's just what Toyota is known for. And you do get 2 years or 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance as well. I just wanted to throw that in there because I forgot to say it earlier. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of the RAV4 Hybrid in the comments section below. That's about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media somewhere on the screen if you wanted to see what's coming next on the channel before it gets to YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe with the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews. That is what we do here on this channel after all. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know. I will see you guys all